What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Bull Combo. Hope you're doing great. Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm coming at you guys with sort of an emergency video because Phase 2 details just got released and I wanted to go over everything that was included with you guys. So stick around while we talk about the latest announcement on Earth 2 and all the exciting things we can look forward to. Alright, so before we get started, guys, real quick, if you want to support the channel in any way, make sure to use that referral code down below. It's the only way to support the channel right now, and actually I kind of enjoy it because while supporting me, you're also doing something for yourself by purchasing something inside of the app. So it's a pretty cool win-win. Again, if you want to support the channel, make sure to use that referral code. I can't guarantee I'll use yours because there's a lot of you guys, but I do try to pick someone every day or a couple people every day when I'm making purchases to use your code. So I do appreciate all of that support, guys. A few minutes ago, Shane posted an announcement in the announcement section of Discord talking about all of the Phase 2 details, or at least a high-level overview of what we can expect with Phase 2. And he also included some cool nuggets of information on some stuff that we can expect down the road after Phase 2 is implemented. So let's jump right into this. So the first thing he talked about was resource gathering. This was something that had been hinted at by Wolfgang previously. We didn't have very much detail on exactly what was going to occur, and it looks like they have confirmed there will be an extensive resource tree that will determine the type of resources we can find on our land. I think this is pretty exciting, and to go along with the resource tree, Shane's also stated that there will be an extensive resource marketplace. So it sounds like on top of the current marketplace we have for tiles, we're either going to have a new marketplace for resources, or the existing marketplace is going to be updated to include a section for resources and house everything in one spot. That will create a whole new section of the game, a whole new market, really, a whole new area of interest for people to trade, for people to generate. And I think this is really going to push the game forward to the next level where we can expect to build things. So while we're talking about resources, we have to talk about the most important, or rather the most interesting resource that's been announced so far, and that would be Essence. So we did have a hint on Essence a few days ago from Dylan. Dylan Sayo entered the general chat and kind of dropped the Essence bomb out of nowhere, and all of us were pretty excited and also a little bit confused on what exactly it meant. So basically what it sounds like Essence is it's going to be a resource that's generated by all land. So anyone that owns land, regardless if it's 1 tile or 100 tiles, your land will generate Essence. And then it sounds like based off of that resource Essence, we're going to be able to use that to identify other resources on our land. It sounds like this will be the master resource that we have to use to unlock and gather other resources. So it's a pretty interesting concept they've implemented here. I'm curious to see how it works and how it plays out in game. There's a lot of things we still don't know about exactly how it will work. So the announcement does state that some of the Phase 2 changes will start going live here over the next few weeks. So there's not a lot of time until we start seeing these changes come to fruition. I'm pretty excited for this. I know the game's only been out a couple months, but those of us that have been spending every day in the game are kind of getting a little tired of just staring at the same old tiles. So adding another dimension to the game, another piece of depth, is really going to kind of encourage people to come back to the game a little bit, and I think is really going to aid in the long-term interest in the game, because that's really what the goal is here, is for people to stay interested long-term and for this to be a long-term successful project. So we're really going to have to see how resources, and specifically how Essence, is implemented when Phase 2 goes live. One of the other things that Shane mentioned in the update was teleportation. Now, this is interesting because in a previous Q&A with Wolfgang, he had said that he didn't think teleportation would be there initially, but it does sound like now teleportation is one of the first things they're going to be working on within the game. So teleportation will be possible from one property to another, and it sounds like larger properties will be able to register a more premium teleportation name. I don't know exactly what that means yet, but I'm going to assume it's going to allow them to make their property appear more desirable, maybe make the teleportation spot more accessible. I guess we'll really have to see how exactly they implement the more premium teleportation name, as they're referring to here. But again, because this wasn't initially expected, it's really exciting, and I do think that this is really going to aid in the progress of Earth 2 and really help Earth 2 take off much quicker than people anticipated. Teleportation adds a whole new level of travel into the game that allows people to basically instantly access someone's land rather than having to search across a grid to find that information. So again, we'll have to see exactly how they implement teleportation, but it's extremely promising to see that it's something that they've included from the get-go and that they're working on early on, rather than something that we're going to have to see down the road. So it sounds like transportation, which is something we covered previously, may still have a manual aspect to it. The teleportation portion of it will make things a lot easier early on in the game. So another hot topic that Shane touched on in the announcements was dividing property. I know this has been something people have wanted to do for quite a long time. However, after this most recent announcement about teleportation and a more premium teleportation name, it does seem like people are going to be less apt to divide their property than previously would have been thought. If larger properties benefit from having more accessible teleportation name, then it does sound like people will be less apt to split their properties up. And this was even included as a note in the announcement that if users are aware of the benefits of large properties and still choose to split their properties up, that will be an option. However, again, they want to make sure people are well aware of the fact that larger properties do have some benefits that come along with them prior to people deciding to break their properties up. I imagine they're probably going to want to implement something to make the decision have some sort of weight. And if that's the case, I think people will think long and hard about whether or not they want to split up larger tile groupings or larger properties. So as Shane stated in the main update, Phase 2 is going to be all about enhancing what you can do on your property, allowing you to customize your property more deeply, and specifically being able to gather resources, which will be an important factor for building in Phase 3. I know since a lot of us caught wind of some of these changes, we've all been extremely excited. There's been a lot of impatience going around. I've even been impatient from time to time, and I think all of us are really just trying to understand what exactly is happening here with the game. But it's really promising to see these updates. It's really exciting to see that the team does have a long-term vision and that we can expect some of these Phase 2 changes in the next few weeks. So in addition to the Phase 2 details, Shane did also hint at some of the longer-term plans for Earth 2, and two of the more interesting things that were mentioned were PvP/PvE, which sounds like it may have some sort of reward for opting into, so that'll be interesting to see. And the other thing that was spoken of was avatars, and how their goal is for us to have diverse and extremely customizable avatars. Obviously, that's something that all of us wanted, especially when the Ready Player One comparison was made. I know one of the most desirable things about that game, or rather that story, was just the limitless customization of how someone can be represented inside the game. And I think it's really cool that they're taking that to heart and they're taking that seriously, and that avatars will be a thing. Obviously, this is something that's going to be down the road, but again, it's really encouraging to hear that they have already developed a long-term roadmap. The final thing that I wanted to talk about was the Earth 2 terrain editor. So we all knew that the announcement here was just going to be a text announcement that just spoke of Phase 2, and the terrain video is still something we're waiting on. We've gotten a few more details about the video. It sounds like it comes in at just a little over 5 minutes long, which is pretty long for a trailer. So we're going to get to see quite a bit of content here in terms of what they're going to be doing and what they're going to be implementing with the terrain editor. Nathaniel did also confirm that while Unity is the engine that they're building most of Earth 2 on, the terrain editor specifically was a proprietary terrain editor that was designed. I don't know if that means that they utilized Unity as the base structure or if they developed something new from scratch. That is slightly interesting considering the fact there is already an extensive terrain editor that Nathaniel designed and built himself. So I'm curious to see exactly how much of that is implemented. Again, he wasn't too specific in exactly what proprietary meant, so really all we can do is speculate that it's either based on Unity but has its own customized engine running on top of it, or own customized framework on top of it, or it was some sort of in-house engine that they designed specifically for this world builder experience. Either way, it's really exciting. The fact that the video's done shows that the terrain editor is probably close to complete already, which means that they're already working on other phases of the game. I think that's something we should be really excited about. Just the fact we're getting these announcements and the consistent updates from the devs really tells me that there is a long-term plan for the game and that there's a lot more we can be excited about down the road. So that was all I had for right now, guys. I really just wanted to get this video out to highlight the major changes and announcements that took place inside of Discord today. This was a pretty big deal for Earth 2, and this is probably the biggest day of news that we've had since Earth 2 came into being. A lot of people are really excited. There's a lot of questions. I know Shane has asked for a little bit of patience from our side in terms of waiting for updates from the devs. They're trying to do things right, and that means they're trying not to rush things out. This is an extremely complex game, and it's really clear that they're taking our feedback to heart. So I think it's really promising that they're waiting and being cautious about what they say rather than overstepping. Again, it's very promising to see their level of engagement here in the Discord. And I think really the best thing that we could do as users would just be to try to exercise a little bit of patience with them. I know it's really easy to be impatient with a game like this, especially with something that has real money involved and has a lot of promise and potential. So there's a lot of emotions flying around right now, and I think the best thing we could do is just be patient. There's nothing wrong with being skeptical or asking questions or having concerns, but at the same time we do need to exercise a level of patience when expecting responses on those things. The team's super small. The game exploded. It's really only been around 3 months, but it's only been big for about 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks. So in that time frame, so much has happened, and the level of progress they've made is nothing short of impressive. I mentioned earlier that it takes Call of Duty a couple months to nerf a gun that's game breaking. So to see the level of changes they've already made in just a few short weeks is very promising. So that was it, guys. If you like this content, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell to get notified. I come at you guys with a minimum of 2 Earth 2 videos a week, and I wouldn't want you guys to miss it. Other than that, I'd like to thank you for checking this out today. I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, we'll see you soon.